All right, I'll try to keep you updated. Thanks for being here. Um, really excited to talk about this class. It's as you know, this is a great deal of work that goes into this for, you know, sometimes weeks, months, years for some of these guys. So it's a culmination of quite a bit of work. Really want to thank our staff and support staff for all the work that goes into this. We put together a very good class, top 25 class, very balanced. As of right now, uh, we have, I think, 14 offensive players and 11 defensive players to talk about. I feel like there's very good balance within the high school and the portal as well. 9 high school players on offense I'm going to talk about, and 5 out of the portal. We needed a few more guys to add to some gaps on the offensive side. Defensively, really 11 high school players and 1 portal. We expect to add 1 more high school player today, and we just added the offensive portal I'll talk about here in a minute. So starting with the quarterback position, obviously Cutter was a guy that we had targeted and recruited for years right here at LCA. What a great year he had, what a great program, and we are proud to have Cutter be our high school quarterback and a guy that will come in, compete, he will develop, and we expect him to be a dynamic player. He's a guy that has a contagious personality, works extremely hard, very likable. Guys are attracted to him. It helped us recruit players, and so Cutter was a very big get for us. And then out of the portal, getting Brock Vandergriff out of Georgia, obviously very important for us, very important piece. I think the thing you look at with Brock is you could look at a lot of his film going back to high school. You look at what he did at Georgia. You look at the offense that he ran at Georgia. They're complex. Going through that, he'll be able to come in and work with us. When he came on his official visit, really, I think if you would have just locked him in a room and him and Coach Cohen just would have talked football all day long, he would have been just fine with that. He's definitely a football guy, extremely talented player, and very excited about him. 4 wide receivers, 2 high school. Hardly Gilmore here practicing with us right now out of Florida, and then David Washington, 2 very good players, and then 2 portal guys that we really needed. Jamori Macklin from Texas, North Texas is one heck of a player. Started at Missouri, was at North Texas, and just a dynamic player. Again, one of those guys that's very serious, very skilled, and very talented player. Love his work ethic, love his attitude, and I think he's going to be a big-time addition to our wide receiver room, along with Raymond Cottrell from Texas A&M. Has a few more years, but again, a big, strong receiver that could really run, and somebody we needed. Go to tight end. Willie Rodriguez is really a guy that's a complete tight end. He's a dynamic player, another, just like Cutter, another Kentucky guy out of Cov Cath, and Willie is just, he's exactly what you're looking for at tight end. He's big and physical. He can run, he can catch. He's dynamic. We love everything about Willie. Extremely tough guy, and again, great addition. Running backs, we needed some depth there. Got 2 high school guys in Tavani and in Jason. 2 Fort Lauderdale, one out of Fort Lauderdale, 1 out of North Florida, Sneeds, and then 1 out of the portal. I think the big one that a lot of people were talking about a big get for us out of the portal was Chip. Chip Trainum is one heck of a football player. Again, just like everybody we got out of the portal, extremely mature, um, extremely hardworking, great fit for us and for our culture. Very physical running back, so very excited about him. Offensive line, we got 3 high school guys in Hayes Johnson, Mark Nave, and Abba Selm. Another Northern Kentucky guy there in Abba. And then we have 1 transfer out of the portal in Jalen Farmer from Florida. Gives us a big physical presence. Jalen is a guy that I was harassing him while he was here and told him we were meant to be together. We recruited him pretty hard out of high school and, and ended up coming back to us. So Jalen's a big physical presence we're looking for. Defensively, you could see we went pretty heavy with the linebacking unit. We needed that. Really, it's good balance all the way around. We have good depth at defensive line, but we added some really a really good player there and expect to add another one, but went really heavy at the linebacking position. We needed that, both inside and outside. You got Caleb Red, would be an outside edge guy, Antoine Smith, an inside guy, Devin Smith, very versatile, but inside guy, Jacob Smith, right out of Corbin, again, a guy that has such big upside, on the edge for us, along with his brother, Gerard. Those 2 guys are dynamic players. Congrats to Corbin for having such a good year, and I think those 2 were a big piece of it. But, both guys play extremely hard and have such big upside, just like the rest of the linebackers that I just mentioned. And then Steven Souls out of Tennessee is the last linebacker out of the high school ranks. A big get for us. I'm sure that'll get a lot of attention. Is anytime you get a transfer like that, that's a Butkus finalist and a first-team All-American, and Pop Johnson from Georgia brings an awful lot to our football team. Again, a guy that unbelievable experience. But has that burning desire to bring that winning culture with him and work extremely hard and fit in with us. And Pop is a guy that obviously will have an immediate impact in our program, so we're very excited about him. And then on the defensive backside, we needed some depth there. Cam Dooley, an Alabama safety, a guy that we've been recruiting for a long time. Quavo Marshall, Quavo was a guy that we've been on and love everything about him. And Terion Nichols is a guy. Both Terion and Q Scott out of South Carolina and Terion out of Cincinnati. Both are corners, DBs, versatile, and guys we needed, and I believe guys that could play early. So 2 guys that we really worked hard to hold on to and to recruit. And then, of course, we had to go to Montana to get a kicker with Jacob Cowie, but very strong leg, can do a lot of things, and very talented. So that's where we're at this point. We definitely will be adding hopefully a very big-time high school player here very shortly. And you never know where it's going to go with the portal as far as maybe 1 or 2 more other guys, but very, very good class, very balanced. Again, just appreciate the hard work that the coaches put in. I love these players. I think they're guys that fit Kentucky, and we're excited. We're excited to welcome them into our family. I don't have in front of me the exact numbers of how many guys are coming midterm. Tony and Susan could probably look that up. 13, 14, 14 coming in at midterm. That'll help us with depth. That'll help us with spring practice and all that. So Just want to thank, I mentioned the coaches, the support staff, SIDs, all of you guys, the coverage that you give us throughout the year. Just appreciate it. You guys work hard. Little shout out to Justin Rowland, for mentioning the 15 club and, since his article and promoting that and helping us with that. Really, I think 70 people have joined since he put that article out. So anything, that you could do to help that really, it helps. It helps our current players. I can't tell you how many people are trying to attack the great players that we have on our team and try to lure them and take them away from us. And I think relationships from us won out, along with the help from many people. And I just want to say thanks to the people that have helped and to the people that are going to help in the future. So thank you to all of them as well. So I'll stop and open up for questions at this point.
You mentioned the large linebacker number. Was there, I guess, why such an emphasis in a lot of those, the versatility? It feels like they've played multiple positions.
Yeah, I think the versatility is big for us, inside or outside. We play with quite a few. There's many downs. We could play with 4 linebackers. So, we need that. I felt like we got short time and want to make sure we're continuing to develop guys, from the high school level. And, with this model, with the way things are now, as things are different, and I've talked about that at length this year. We still want to concentrate on the high school player and bringing them in and developing them and having them around our program for a long time. But there's also that form of free agency, if you will, to plug some gaps.
Is that a position, a particular edge, where you almost need to focus more on certain positions in high school because they're harder to find in the portal?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And you want to develop your guys, you want to develop them, and then you want to keep them. And that's always a challenge as well for everybody. I mean, all of us coaches. I mean, this is a great day, and I'm very happy and appreciative of the work that's gone in. But so it's no time to whine and complain. But it's definitely challenging times.
You mentioned fit and culture several times and talking about those guys. How much has that become a bigger factor?
I think it's a very big factor. It always has been. You're never going to be perfect. I think we always work hard to educate our players and to inform them. I think we have to expedite that process now. There's an urgency to teach and develop and have them understand what we're all about quickly, because some guys aren't here that long anymore.
Mark, with Brock, it seems similar to Will in terms of he hadn't played a ton in his old school, but he has those kind of NFL skills. Was that a conscious effort to try and find a quarterback like that in the portal?
Yeah, I think it was a conscious effort. The nice thing is with Liam and what he does, I think he definitely draws attention, and there's the people that are very interested in our program, which excites us. I think a guy like Brock, what you can see at that point, and the fact that he's coming from an offense where they do a lot of things very well and are extremely well trained and work hard and have all the intangibles that you're looking for. I think that's a big piece of it.
High school quarterback recruiting, you've had some bad luck there with injuries and stuff over the years, but what makes you confident Cutter's a guy that you can develop into that so you're not going in the portal every year?
Yeah, we want to get to the high school recruiting, as this is a strong start. I think we have one committed in the future, and so we want to build that high school pipeline going with the quarterback position for sure. But with Cutter, he's a guy we know very well. We've been around him a bunch. We appreciate the time that Scott and Mary Beth and Cutter have spent over here visiting with us and spending time in our facility and coming to games and coming to junior days and just visiting with them. And he has all the intangibles you're looking for. He has all the physical attributes that you're looking for. And so really had a great year, and he's just a guy I think we could build around.
There are too many guys in the portal that have All-American next to their name that played in national championship games. That experience there, how does what he did at Georgia translate to what you all want him to do here?
Well, I think both with he and Brock, the nice thing is they're bringing, some elements and some things of what it takes to play at that level and to communicate that and to work with our players and to blend in with our culture, but to bring any of that winning attitude, that winning formula, the work ethic, what it takes, and be leaders on this team, and hopefully educate and push our players to a higher level as well.
Mark, with all the offensive linemen you got, can any of them plays out?
Yeah, they can play. We have some versatility within that group, and we're also recruiting some as well.
How Davis Johnson, just when you watch him, what makes him so good? What made him the guy you wanted to see?
Well, just he's extremely talented, extremely explosive, plays with great energy, experienced, you name it.
With all the things that are compacted within a short period of time, like keeping the kids here and recruiting, and all the other things, bowl games, all things that seem like in a short window. What kind of progress is being made from how to try to change some things in terms of how things, recruiting and signing date and all that?
Well, as you just mentioned, that's kind of a little bit of a contradiction there. You just mentioned the 18 things that we had to do, so it's not exactly the right time to look at things and to change. You know what I mean? That's not to say that we're, me, we're constantly trying to learn. We're constantly trying to do things better. I think trying to make sure my feet were on the floor and in the right place at the right time was priority number one. So we will take a deep dive into how you do things better at another time. Even the coordinators, they had some time to prepare for this game, but we've been slammed 24/7.
Coach, how nice was it to kind of flex your muscles on the recruiting trail with the Smith brothers when, the #1 team in the country wanted them pretty badly?
Well, I think, the Smith twins have been just a joy to recruit. We've had a strong connection with them for a while, back when I visited, their school up in Connecticut and spent time up there. And, fortunately they came back to Kentucky, and I think it's good for the state. I think it's certainly good for that area, down at Corbin, and went down there and spent time at the high school and spent time with the boys and went in the community and ate some food and saw some people, and I think they bring a lot to the state and to that area in particular. We're grateful to have them. They've been like I said, they've been a joy to recruit. They're very mature young men. They work extremely hard, and I think they're the type of guys that can have an impact very quickly.
Mark, can you tell them apart?
Yes. Yes.
What are the dynamics of recruiting brothers? I mean, not just those twins, you had twins before, but I know we can't talk about it, but
Yeah.
the younger brothers and current players you have, what are
Yeah.
those family dynamics like?
Well, sometimes it makes a phone call earlier. I was talking to Jacob the other day, and I was like, "Get Gerard on the phone for me." And he had to yell at him, and he had surgery, and so it makes a phone call. Maybe one less phone call to help happen, one less official visit, because you knock them out, at the same time. But no, I think they're both. Very close. They're both tremendous football players right now with great upside, but they're different people. I think they'll tell you that. And, we'll coach them, differently, you know what I mean? And try to hone in on what each of them need on that particular day and help them grow and become the best players they can be on and off the field. But, I'm very excited about those two.
Mark, with Brock, and I think all the offensive guys, they have at least 1 or 2 years of added eligibility, not just next year. How important was that to build some continuity on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think, it definitely is. I think you know that with the inconsistency that we've had, continuity is important. Just the guys right now, back to your question, Lonnie, I think, you can see the progress made in practice. I definitely can see that. I see the guys at the end of the year, following the Louisville game, they needed some time. I mean, we had a brutal schedule. I mean, mentally and physically, got some time to heal up, and then we go back out there at practice, and I see growth already. And so then you add some guys like this and add some pieces, and it really excites me for the future.
Mark, signing of Chip aside, you're adding 2 young running backs to the group that's already going to have Jamarions. How excited are you about the future of the backfield with all the young guys?
Yeah, you definitely, you feel like, these 2 guys have some great size, and then you bring in Chip as well. I know he'll be, won't be here too long, but you bring in a guy like Chip with that size and the high schoolers, and then a guy like Jamarion that could take it to the distance at any time. It'll help. We needed it. We needed some depth.
Is it easier to recruit like multiple running backs in the same class nowadays because guys don't maybe feel like they need the 30 carries a game? They just see so much more that offenses are kind of geared to having multiple running backs kind of get.
Yeah. I believe so, and there's a lot of good backs out there, and they know they need some help. I mean, they get banged up. It's a pretty physical position.
You got a lot of big in-state names. I know we talk about this every year, but how important is it to keep those guys in-state and keep them from going down the road?
It's always our number one priority. I always say that, that no matter how many it is, no matter what the number, we want the right players here, and we want to keep them in-state. That's our priority. And, we got some, we were fortunate to get some really big-time players out of the state this year.
Well, we mentioned the relationship with Jalen Farmer before, and I think you offered some to other guys to transfer. Just how important is it to keep those relationships?
Yeah, I think it is important. I mean, I can't say, I didn't tamper. I didn't keep in touch with him that way, but once he went in the portal, it was good to make that contact and to get him back here. And I think him being familiar with us and being on campus when he was here recently definitely helped.
I think Ray tweeted out at some point, hey, running backs, this is the place that you want to be. How do you think his season and what you've done kind of the last several years do for a guy like Chip being interested?
Yeah, I think it has to play a role, because obviously he was in a good situation, at Ohio State on a very good team that's very well coached with a lot of talented players. I think it has to help to see, Benny, C-Rod, and now, this year, in the way we've had success with running backs and, want to be committed to that, want to be committed to the running game. Obviously, I don't want to get into the detail. We had our ups and downs with that, but that's part of our DNA and what we want to look like, and we want to be able to have that physicality. And so, you have to ask him, but I definitely believe that's a piece of it for a guy like that to want to come to a place that's committed to running the football like that.
Did I hear you correctly said that Hardly Gilmore is already on campus practicing with you guys?
He is here. I don't really want to get into the details of some of that, but we had a waiver and have some extenuating circumstances that he is here. Yeah.
Playing the bowl game, or
he cannot, but he can practice.
He's from an area of Florida that has produced pros quite frequently.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, they're known for their speed. Is that showing up when you've seen so far?
Yeah, he just definitely. You can. Yeah, he definitely is one of those guys. That where he comes from. I have great respect for. A lot of tough guys come from there, and guys that could run, and he has all the skills you're looking for at wide receiver. So he's just out there. He's trying to put it together right now. But great young man. Always has a smile on his face. Always works hard, and so we're excited about that.
Mark, Raymond didn't play extensively at A&M, and I just didn't know, was he a guy that maybe Jimbo gave you like a heads up, like, hey, this is a guy maybe you guys want to look at if he decides to enter the portal?
No, I had not talked to Jimbo about him, but we just watched enough film and felt like with the years left on him, and his size and speed was something that we needed to fill. And, he'll help us. And I could also add now the 12th high school player, and Brian Robinson. His paperwork is in, and obviously another extremely highly rated player. You put him and Gerard and Jacob and some of these other guys together, and did a great job. Coach Marl's going to talk to you guys here in a minute, but has a strong relationship with Brian and the family, and he's a Youngstown guy, so we better not lose a Youngstown guy like that. You know what I mean? And so we go. He's another young man that has let us recruit him, and has come here so many times and dedicated a lot of his time and energy to us and to a lot of schools to do a lot of due diligence. So it says a lot about our staff and about our program to be able to sign Brian because he obviously had all options and came here so many times, and he was very thorough in what they do, and I'm not sure I've ever seen a more dedicated high school player to as far as the way he goes about his business with training, nutrition and flexibility and coaching and you name it, extremely dedicated. So another guy with very mature that will bring continue to add to the strong culture that we're looking for.
You guys have talked so many times over the years about how hard that edge rusher position is in your defense to learn, but because he does all those training things, does that position him better maybe to play earlier?
I think it does. I think him and Gerard are guys that have the physical ability, and they play so hard that can definitely help us.
Kind of going back to the wide receiver room, Jamori Macklin, he brings an elite skill set to the team. When recruiting him, what kind of really stood out to you guys, and what do you think he brings to the team?
With Jamori, what really stood out was just really just all business with him. I mean, he obviously relationships are always strong, but just a very serious young man. Again, somebody that you can tell. Works with his cousin Jeremy and trains and is a very well trained wide receiver already, and definitely has his eyes set for the future, and has he's got his priorities in order, and we love that. And he's a guy that could come in and help us right away, and so just love his attitude. His skill set kind of speaks for itself. And the way he gets in and out of breaks, the way he catches, the competitive nature that he has. I mean, he has a lot of qualities we're looking for, and he's also very intelligent, and he's also very, very versatile. Obviously he's going to be a dynamic inside guy to complement Dane and Barryon and the other guys we have, but to get a dynamic inside guy is really important for us. And but he also can move around a little bit if he had to as well.
Mark, how important was it you had a couple guys go into the portal and come back, especially Dingle and from the portal? How big was that for the tight end room to get him back?
Yeah, I think it was very important. Jordan's a guy that we definitely want in the program. I mean, here's a young man that does, everything right. He's darn near perfect in his grades, and he's been just a great teammate. He loves it here. I don't think wanted to leave. I'm just going to stop there before I get myself in trouble. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to whine or cry. This is an exciting day. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of money involved.
Mark, not that the
Good.
Oh, one update, we got 18 guys who will be coming in.
Okay, thank you.
I was gonna ask, not that the transfer portal hasn't treated you guys very well at the quarterback position, but I guess for you, how maybe excited is it to the expectation that Cutter can come in and be a high school guy you guys mold and have for multiple years?
Well, I think that was clearly a priority for us. You know what I mean? Clearly a priority when Liam came back. It was to go zero in on a 24 quarterback. And to get Cutter, who we've been recruiting for years and years, not the guy we wanted, was very important. And and now we want to continue to do that with high school guys. Yeah.
What was it about Cutter that really made you guys go all in on him?
Well, everything. I think with quarterbacks, I mean, the physical attributes have to be there, right? I mean, you have to be able to have the ability to play at this level, at the highest level, and he clearly has that. And then with quarterbacks, you look to the intangibles, and he's way above the norm there. He's elite with the tangibles, his work ethic, he's likable, and what I mean about that is he could always round up guys. They want to go work with him. They want to go throw. They want to do extra work. I mean, those are the intangibles, the leadership qualities that come very naturally to him.
Anyone else?
Mark, Cutter's been committed for a while, obviously, but Brock more recently. How much did Will playing in the NFL and playing so low right away have an impact in that league?
You have to ask Brock. I would imagine it has an impact. I don't think there's any question that what we do attracts quarterbacks because they know it's going to get them ready. I mean, and with the terminology and how complex we are and what we do, I mean, it definitely helps. I mean, and there's areas where, as I mentioned, that we want to improve, that we got to adjust, and we have to keep up with things and be current as well.
Mark, at the end of the day, obviously, I mean, you hire coaches for what they can do on the game days, but, Cutter was pretty blunt back when he committed that if Liam wasn't the OC, he probably wouldn't have come here. So I guess, what can you just speak about, like, just Liam's influence on the recruiting?
Well, I think Liam and Cutter had a relationship prior to Liam leaving. I think that, hurt. And then, I think with Liam coming back, I mean, Liam has that personality, that charisma that people are attracted to, and that's important to lead at this point. When you're, in front of the team or in front of a offense or a defense, for that command, it's extremely important. And Liam has that, and he could connect. It doesn't mean it's perfect. Doesn't mean we all connect with every guy perfectly, because that's not the case. But certainly that was very, very important to Cutter, and I think it was important to Cutter to know that he was always a guy that I wanted and that Liam wanted, and that as soon as he came back, we went back on him full force. And maybe that wasn't the case, you know what I mean? Maybe he didn't feel that from a previous, quarterback coach.
Mark, we talked to Coach Schwartz yesterday for the first time. What did you like about him in the hiring process, and then how do you see him maybe fitting into the recruiting operation? Yeah,
DeKiel is just a guy that I was just very, very impressed with. He's a young guy that again, I think, the energy that he brings, connecting with the players. I think the first thing was just getting, complete control of that room, because we have some talented players, and not that it was anything wrong with it. It's just he's a guy that can, definitely bring some strong relationships to that room and develop the players that we have. Definitely will attract other players, and so I just was very impressed with DeKiel. He was a guy that Liam and I, when we visited with him, I think both of us were didn't take us long, to figure out what we wanted to do.
Mark, it seemed like you got in and questioned Scott kind of early before he sort of blew up, and then he did sort of blow up. What did you all see, and how gratifying was it that you were able to hold on to him?
Well, I think it was really important to hold on to him, and I think the strong relationships definitely meant something. And I think the fact that we identified, early on what a player he was, and that's not the first time that's happened. We have a tendency to do that. We evaluate, in particular, some DBs pretty good, pretty early, and he's one that we're very high on. And I think the relationships, the fact that we never wavered on him, he never wavered on us. I think people came in and tried to attack it late, and these kids get hit with a lot, anymore. And to his credit, he locked in on us, and he knew we were committed to him, and very, very grateful for the strong relationships and the loyalty.
Last one. Well, Mark, you guys have had some very defined recruiting places that you go, but with Jay and now DeKiel, you have kind of two guys who have a decent amount of experience in Texas. Do you think that might become a bigger emphasis for you guys going forward?
Never know, we'll see, where that goes. You look at this year and they had that for me somewhere. We got Kentucky, Georgia, Ohio, Florida, Missouri, New Jersey, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Montana, and Maryland. So we're getting around pretty good.
All right, folks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Coach, thank you for your time.